Future Ash finally gets the last page of the Necronomicon. So it's over, right? Nope, not by a long shot. We're going to talk about it in our review of Army of Darkness Forever number 6 from Dynamite Comics. See you in 3. And welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of Army of Darkness Forever number 6 from Dynamite Comics. And in this issue, Future Ash gets exactly what he asked for, but not what he wanted. Of course. But before we get started, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. Your attention is greatly appreciated, and make sure you stay tuned to the end for the final score. Let's talk about the credits. Army of Darkness Forever number 6 is written by Tony Fleeks, art by Justin Greenwood, colors by Brad Simpson, letters by Troy Peteri, and the cover art for cover A, which is the main cover, is drawn by Francesco Mattina. If you'll recall what happened in the previous issue, or maybe you do, maybe you don't, we'll find out. Future Ash had to find all the pages of the Necronomicon to reassemble them with the guidance and the help of the holographic wise man from the past. And the last page is in the very last place Future Ash would ever want to be, the charred, destroyed remains of the infamous cabin where his troubles and travails with the Necronomicon originally started. And so he now has to go into the cellar to find the last page, and so he can come back up, reassemble the pages, put the book back together, save the spell, and then he can go back to his own time. Meanwhile, Sheila, back in the 1300s, has discovered that the evil and the darkness is spreading, that the evil Ash is still running around and gathering his forces and spreading the darkness through the Deadites. And when she eventually goes back to the castle to solicit the help of King Arthur, or Lord Arthur, not King Arthur, it's Lord Arthur. Lord Arthur, she finds out he has also been corrupted by the darkness. In the present, or I should say in the present of S-Mart present Ash, his plan, working with evil Ash inside him, is to somehow spread darkness through the use and the power of the internet. In what way, we don't know for sure. Something's coming about. We will find out. But that part of the story is kind of nebulous. And also he's drawing the attention of the police because people around him are turning up dead, which is probably not a good thing if you're trying to be stealthy about it. Those are the kind of the three timelines that are working in the previous issue. So let's talk about what's happening in the current issue. Future Ash comes up from the cellar of the hollowed out, charred remains of the cabin. He has the final page. He says, "Wise man, make it happen." He puts the pages together, tells them what words to say, which is the famous words. I'm not going to say it here because I might actually conjure a demon. And bingo bango. Something happens, but not exactly what you wanted to happen. Instead of the book coming back together and Ash getting reverted back to his own timeline, the book turns into a demon baby. A little baby. Looks like a little cherub, but with demon wings. And not exactly at all what you would have expected. In the present timeline, or I should say in the present Ash, the one that's infected by the evil Ash, he's being interrogated by the police, and they said, "Why'd you kill all these people?" And they said, "I didn't kill all these people. The little guys killed all these people," which are the little miniature Ashes. And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And yes, miniature Ashes show up to try and break Ash out, who's now infected with evil Ash, to try and burn down the police station and free him. And then what happens is present Ash, who is now infected with evil Ash, sends out a chain email, I guess. He sends out a bunch of emails to a bunch of people. I don't know how he figured that out, at least at that time period, but there it is. All the way back in the past, Sheila manages to escape Lord Arthur's clutches with the Necronomicon, and she does the only thing she can, which is she seeks out the last person on Earth that she would ever want to seek the help of, which is Duke Henry, the portly, jovial Duke Henry. And that's kind of where we end up with the issue. So now we have three timelines. Things are happening in those three timelines. Where do they all intersect? How will they all come together? I have no idea. But that's where we are. Now, if you're wondering, if you're just catching up on this issue and trying to understand where this comic series fits in with the films or maybe supplementary material, this is effectively a sequel to the Army of Darkness film from 1993. The storyline picks up almost immediately right after the events of that film, uses all the same characters and tries to expand and and enhance what happened there. Maybe not enhance, but simply go take the end of that film and then go much further. Because if you read the first issue of this series, that's pretty much a recap of exactly the ending of the film. So this is as an anniversary series, and that's what the whole point of it. This is supposed to be the 30th anniversary extension of that film. That's what's coming into play. What do we like about Army of Darkness Forever number 6? Even though the timelines don't really connect, it feels like things are happening at each. We feel like we're moving forward and trying to move eventually towards some destination or goal. Sheila is trying to eventually free her land from the darkness that didn't quite go away when the Chosen One went to a centuries-long slumber to return to his own time. But so she's doing something. She's pairing up. They're forming things. They're forming an army with Duke Henry, and they're trying to make things happen. That's good. That's progress. You're moving towards a direction. In the present-ish timeline, the 1993 timeline, we see whatever machinations Evil Ash and Present Ash are doing to try and spread darkness over the land in the future for where Evil Ash was spawned, using the power of the internet, whatever that means. And then in the future, we see that future Ash in the year 2093, when he assembles a book and it turns into an evil baby, that now connects briefly with the past, because now we know that the holographic holy man, or wise man, I should say, that he's been taking guidance from is a extrusion of the wise man from the past in the 1300s. And now we know, because there's a last minute sort of cliffhanger twist, that the wise man actually is an acolyte of Evil Ash. So in the future, Ash has assembled a book, and by saying the spell has now spawned this little weird demonic baby that knows the Nictu words. But that was a trick. He was tricked into it by doing it. He has now brought forth some kind of great evil power that looks like a baby, but presumably is going to get much bigger. And that was the plan that started all the way back in the 1300s. So now at least the past and the future now have a connection point, which is great progress. What didn't we like about Army of Darkness Forever number 6? Even though that link comes in at the very last minute to kind of bring it all together, at least the past and the future, the present still seems like its own story that's out of nowhere and that has no sense or continuity with anything else that's going on. That may change. Tony Fleecs might find some way to connect it in and connect the threads and make this feel like a cohesive story. But as it is right now, except for that last little bit that ties the wise man to the past and the future, this story feels like 3 stories that are going on separately that have nothing to do with each other, and they feel very disconnected and isolated and not at all cohesive. So it feels like you're just reading chunks of different stories happening at the same time in different locations, in different places. And it's sort of confusing and weird, especially because so far the story has not explained how you have Ash in the present and then Ash in the future and how that all comes into play. And where, at least the way the story has been told, it makes it seem like there are 2 Ashes happening in different timelines at the same time. And that it doesn't work. It just sort of like feels clunky and disconnected and falls apart. What about the art from Justin Greenwood? So the art is solid. I mean, Ash looks like Ash, sort of. There's a little bit of a caricaturish style to Justin Greenwood's character designs, but it works well enough. And Evil Ash looks like Evil Ash. The Wise Man looks like the Wise Man. Sheila looks like Sheila. So all the characters are there. You recognize them. You see what they're doing. And there's a little bit of at least a proximity to what the real life actors would look like, but not so close that it looks like you're trying to visually, realistically reproduce the actors. It's close enough to get the job done, and it looks fine. Final thoughts. What did we think about Army of Darkness Forever number 6 from Dynamite Comics? The ties for the separate timelines are starting to appear, which gives the story some more cohesion, and that's better. So it's a more satisfying reading experience, because now we kind of we starting to see a little bit of an inkling of what Tony Fleecs is trying to do. And the art looks good. The art, generally speaking, looks good. On the downside, the separate timelines still haven't quite connected in a cohesive way. So if the story in the reading experience feels very clunky and disconnected, and there's conflicting character presence, if you want to call it that, among the different timelines, and that doesn't make sense. So it's confusing, disconnected, and frustrating. Therefore, we're going to give Army of Darkness Forever number 6 a 6.3 out of 10. Let us know. Are you an Army of Darkness fan? I want to hear your comments down below. Tell us what you think about Army of Darkness in general, or this series in particular. If you're reading, are you enjoying it? Do you think the mixed timelines are just fine or not? Let us know down in the comments. And thank you very much for joining. If you like more comic reviews, please stay tuned through the outro.